This isn't my first time being in the main building after hours, but usually it says I'm leaving the place with Shizune and Misha after a long day at the student council, not entering it alone. The atmosphere is quiet, a word I would not normally use to describe these halls, but it's a little creepy. The light starts flickering up ahead. This seems like a horror story, moments waiting to happen. Pulling a hand on my shoulder, I stiffen reflexively. It's not Misha, or else they would be hands clamped over my eyes and a sing-song Gasu accompanying them. So who is it? I hope it's not Kanji, or at least that it's someone I know, or this will take a turn for the weird. Whoever it is quickly slips in front of me. It's Shizune. Oh, she's dressed fast. What are you doing here? I'm so relieved that I forgot to sign it. Shizune puts a finger up to her lips. I guess even though she can't hear, she has some idea of what loudness is and can tell from my expression that I was being loud. Apparently being loud isn't a good thing right now. But then why is Misha her interpreter? Oh, very funny. Why are you here? I was waiting for you to come see. I knew you would show up. It took me a while though. You've been waiting here? Yes, but this is important. We have to be stealthy if we don't want Misha to detect us. Tell me if not being stealthy enough, okay? With that, Shizune starts slowly tiptoeing through the middle of the hall. I pat her on the shoulder to get her attention. It's not stealthy. Why do we have to be stealthy? She refuses to answer, probably because signing and walking stealthily at the same time doesn't look easy. Before I know it, we're in front of our homeroom. Suddenly a sound like a crack of the whip pierces the air, followed by a familiar expression of frustration. I'm sure a pound like that isn't good for my heart, not to mention everything sounds like a billion times louder. About a million times louder, with how silent it is. It's coming from inside the room, and I sidle up to the Shizune to look inside. Can you stop throwing pencils, please? How do you even throw a pencil that loud? I don't even remember his voice. It's been so long. He looks very frustrated. What an understatement. I sympathize with Matao. I was able to hear Misha's pen breaking the sound barrier even through a wall and a thick classroom door. It probably blew out his eardrums and left an imprint on the wall. I'm not throwing it. When I get nervous, I like to spin it around, but then I forgot I'm holding onto it and... It doesn't matter. Either way, there shouldn't be pencils flowing around. I get enough of during her school hours. I don't need it after hours. Right, sorry. Whatever, just stop throwing or releasing or dropping things, please. Teach it at work too. Is that his voice? I notice Shizune watching the same scene I am. Matao's yelling at the top of his lungs, and Misha's just being Misha. I can hear them reasonably well through the door, but Shizune obviously can't hear anything at all, so I wonder what watching this is like for her. She must know since she understands well enough to want me to see it too, but I have to wonder if she ever feels like missing out on something, having to work that much hard to understand what she's observing. It looks like she's taking supplementary lessons, is she? Yeah. I answered despite knowing the question is completely rhetorical. Misha told me she really wants to be a sign language teacher in the future. She can get a recommendation. She can study overseas for it. That is why she's working so hard. Her grades were always kind of on the low side. Now I feel guilty. I haven't even thought about what I'm going to do yet. Neither have I. The cheerful way she signs it is very unlike her. It's very obviously false. Let's get out of here. We don't want to be seen. It would be a problem if we were to be caught standing out here like idiots. Where? The student council? We were just there. They literally just had sex there. Shaking her head, she slipped into the classroom across the hall and said, "Great hiding place. You're unusually sarcastic lately. With the door closed, it's a good one. Anyway, wasn't it interesting?" Yes, but I'm not really surprised. I closed the door behind us, prompting Shizune to laugh soundlessly as she slides into the chair. For a second it depressed me. I want to hear a real laugh. I've been looking down on Misha. I didn't think she had a goal at all, but it turns out that I was wrong. I had a careless assumption. I thought Misha was as aimless as I was. I was stupid. I lost. She pauses to crack her knuckles, then folds her hands over each other and leans forward in her chair. In the abnormal quiet of the building, I can hear Matao yelling at Misha again across the hallway and through two doors. Shizune's eyes are locked on mine. I'm blinking behind the gleaming lenses of her glasses, observing my reaction to her words. This is a test. Her opinions of people is rarely formed from what they respond to questions. It's how they respond to statements that counts. In hindsight, it makes sense. Shizune's inability to speak as well as just her personality in general means that anything she says is a big commitment on her part, everything. For that reason, I sometimes doubt she says anything without a hidden agenda behind it. It sounds remarkably paranoid. Even Kenji would think so. Unfortunately, I'm so caught up in thinking about it that I forget to give her an answer. She takes it as there's not being one. There is an invisible time limit to the test, shorter than usual. Just as I thought. What do you mean? You don't agree? Not really. It's not that I don't get it. I want to force my will on people. How refreshingly honest. Don't give me a weird look like that. It's not like that. Always my intention. That's always my intention. At first, I was just bored. I wanted to see someone's passion for something, then they could try to beat them. I wanted to test their ability of their convictions. But it was impossible. No one has any passion for anything in this school. They just want to keep them to themselves. I can't believe it. It's too boring that way. I thought that there was no way these people could be for real. It goes beyond not wanting to make waves. They had to do some interests. They had to be hiding something. I wanted to expose it and reveal it and rig it out. One of the most successful ways to get people to open up to you and cheer them up is to open up with a story about yourself, and then you ease them into yet telling you about themselves. It's like give and take, but with an element of manipulation which makes it interesting. I can't do that. If I attempt to make Misha talk about me, for me, it makes me seem arrogant. The message has to be through the messenger. I'm standing next to Misha and telling her not to tell someone about me. You don't have to be able to read sign language to see that. If I were forced to sit through that, I would think I was arrogant too. I was frustrated. I couldn't figure out how to have a conversation with anyone but Misha. No one would open up to me. I came to the conclusion that I make people confide in me or believe in me. I can only hope to create things and show them to people and how they make them happy, or I could be more forceful and hope it would eventually stick to someone. I guess that would be me. It feels vaguely depressing. Somewhere along the line, I think I started to ignore Misha, or see her as less of a person, or something like that. I took her for granted, and I think that would be the best way to put it. Or it was like she was just an extension of myself. I forgot that the whole time Misha was there, opening up to me and giving 100% every day. I missed what I was looking for because it was in plain sight. How stupid of me! I really didn't become arrogant. That's what I've lost. I'm more short-sighted than I was back then. I went in reverse. She's pacing back and forth now, almost brooding, yet still filled with so much energy that she can't stand to stop moving. If you get her to hold 2 wires, I'm sure Shizune could power a light bulb. It's odd that I could have such a light-hearted thought while she's being so serious. And in spite of that, Misha tells me that I'm her inspiration. Isn't that ridiculous? I'm not that kind of person who can inspire others. Even if a person who inspires you is flawed, it can be acceptable. I've thought about this. There's even acceptable hypocrisy. For instance, if your hero is an athlete, but unsportsmanlike, they could still be respected for their athletic ability, even if they had shortcomings as a person. However, she snaps her fingers briskly. Sounds like a thunderclap in the empty room, and Shizune takes a few seconds to stretch her fingers. Come to think of it, this is the most she's ever signed. If someone like me has no goals, it'd be totally unacceptable. It'd be the worst kind of hypocrisy, and hypocrites don't deserve responsibility over anything. They don't even manage themselves. How incredibly pessimistic. It makes me angry to think about it. I would hate myself just a few months ago. This must be how I look to others. And funny enough, it was Shizune and Misha who convinced me to stop. Without them, I'm sure things would be different, and not for the better. Lately, I feel as though we pass around our miseries as much as we're supported by each other. But I think it just comes with the territory of having friends and being close to someone. You're the leader anyway. That's only because no one else wants to be. That means you still are, since people are putting their trust in you anyway. In fact, doesn't that make it more important? Either way, you are the leader. You're the inspiration figure, or whatever you want to call it. You're responsible for your team. I read that in a book somewhere. That's clever. Shizune only seems to show that she's feeling what she's feeling on her face when she wants to, but I don't think she's being sarcastic. I want to tame anyone, though. Being the leader and being looked up to, then. Same thing. I never wanted to be the leader. It just ended up that way. I don't believe that. All you do is try to grab more and more responsibility. Wait. I wasn't going to tell you that I don't enjoy it. I don't care about being the leader, but I don't mind. I don't care about being the best, but I don't mind. You're right, though, about me wanting responsibility. Of course, I want more responsibility. Having responsibility makes me feel alive. That's why I joined the student council. If there's no pressure, I just can't stand it. Even so, now I'm the leader. I always thought that being the leader meant you give orders, but it really is more. It's about having a goal. If I don't have a goal, then it's pointless. People would only be following me for my own enjoyment. It'd be selfish. It's a strangely moral viewpoint for a person who seems to love one-upping others so much. Resting her chin on her tented fingers, Shizune looks disarmingly childish as she thinks hard about her problem. The expression on her face is a little comical because it's too obvious and therefore very unlike her. It comes with the job. I think you'd be the leader. You'd have to be the leader. You wouldn't be satisfied with anything else. You would just get bored. Shizune doesn't reply, but from annoyed expression, I think I've guessed correctly. I've been thinking I need a little direction, too. Were you told that it's important to contribute to society? What an unusual response. It's so out of nowhere that I don't know how to respond. It bothers me, though I don't know why. Possibly because it doesn't seem like something that would come from her. So I start to think that it isn't Shizune thought at all. I wonder who told her that. Well, it was probably her dad, but there is a chance that she came with it on her own. If so, wouldn't it be because she can't hear? Why do you say that? Just because. I don't believe it. I guess that's right, though. I see. I don't know if it's the same for me. I hate it. I think everyone wants a purpose. Looking back, it makes sense that Shizune doesn't have one. All the energy would otherwise have been directed at something. Since she has nothing to channel it towards, Shizune's lashed out in all directions. It reminds me of a downed power line failing in the storm. Furious and incandescent, but aimless and dangerous, just like Shizune. I want to say that this is what she feels the need to turn everything into a competition, but that's probably just how she is. Having a goal to put that energy towards is just the next level. How about this? I can go into business. My family is well connected, so it shouldn't be too hard. And that comes off sounding like a little unethical and nepotistic, doesn't it? A little. I won't coast, though. I'll work hard until I'm at the very apex. When I have when I have as much money as possible, so much that it'll be like I won't know what to do with it, I'll move on to the next step. And after sitting on it for a while, of course, like a fairy tale dragon. You want to be? Philanthropist. Fucking. What were you thinking? Did I want to be a miser? Well, it's true. It is part of the plan. Don't sell me short and stop there, though. Shun looks uneasy. Of course, even if she did seem to resolve her problem quickly, no one can get over the anxieties that fast. No one can solve the problems that easily. The important thing is, it looks as though she has her heart set on trying. It's still hard to tell whether the drive of hers comes up from a good or bad place. But she has something to hold on to now. I can generally believe that she does. I'm happy for her. At the same time, I feel a little cold. I'm the one who's behind now. Now I'm the only one without a goal. There haven't been any further disruptions since that week. Of course, that's what I thought the week before that, and Shizune and Misha's sudden newfound clarity had left me feeling a little lost and envious. I thought there were no way I could rest easy at that time. But fortunately, nothing came of my worries. And before I knew it, there was enough to deal with in school that I even managed to put them off my mind. And still, everything was fine. I was wrong. I had seen Shizune and Misha's careful, hidden vulnerabilities, but they were still strong. Now we're going to be graduating soon. I've grown so comfortable here that it's kind of crept on me. And when it did, I felt sad and didn't want to think about it, so I didn't. Not until recently. About a week ago, I started making a list of people I thought I should say goodbye to before graduation. The first rule I laid out for myself was that I would try not to write them down in any kind of special order, like least important to most important. Somehow I ended up like that anyway, even though it also ended up being a shorter list than I expected it to be. Kenji is somewhere in the middle. They said I would graduate eventually. Well, I showed them. I have lived here rent-free for more than long enough. If you take into account the rising cost of land, I think you said I could have won in the end. No, you know what? I did win. History will acknowledge me as a victor. The victor of what? I managed to stay out of sight and slip through the cracks. I beat the system. You put it that way. It sounds like you ran away from the system. Sometimes running is the greatest form of victory, like in the Olympics. I'm too tired to argue with him. Who's he kidding? Everyone knows this shot put is the best Olympic event in any case. So what? You're basically saying is you won't miss it? Miss what? School, dummy. No, I told you, this place is too filled with feminists. It's beyond saving, but at least I'll be able to get out of here before it reaches critical mass. I'll come back years later, when they build a statue to honor me. Do they do the 10-year later reunion thing here? How would I know that? Oh, wait, was that his style? Oh, do they do that? Okay. How would I know that? Probably. Anyway, I have to start packing now. Take care of yourself, man. You should have packed a week ago like I did. Not that I had much to pack. That's not how it goes. You're supposed to do everything at the last minute. Men are better at doing everything in the last minute. The last minute can have more productivity than like the entire week before it. That's how we keep shit fair. You'll never understand our manly ways. You take care of yourself too. With a salute, he shoots backwards to the door, slamming it shut behind him, hard enough that the entire dorm probably heard it. I've noticed that a lot of people slam doors here. Maybe it's a local thing. Take care of myself. It's the first time I've ever heard him say that. Usually he ends our conversation like something like "see ya," or "I'll pay you back later, man." Well, he was a little annoying sometimes, but I'll miss him. I cross him off my list mentally. The list is very short now, and once I get in, I discard the notion of going through it in any kind of order. Like I said, I never had the intention. So I go out to look for Shizune and Misha. I can only think of one place they could be. The student council room, of course. Turning the corner, I almost bump into a small group of students. For a second, a bitter feeling flashed through me, since for all I know, they could have been fatal. It's a new student council. There aren't a lot of them, but a lot more than 3, which is good since it means there's enough of them that they can each have their own title. It would have been cool if I could have had a little desk plaque with my name and title on it. I don't think they do that now, or ever did, unfortunately. The new student council surrounds me while I'm thinking. If anyone were looking at this from afar, it would be a pretty sinister sight. Maybe they had to come to finally get back on me for calling them the new student council all those times. I was just translating for Shizune, but I guess I should have been less lazy and more tactful. I regret nothing. I find myself being thanked for everything I've done. I'm being thanked. This should make me happy, considering how often I would think to myself that being in the student council is completely a thankless job. It does make me happy, but I can't enjoy it fully. I wonder how many things would have turned out if our student council had grown as large as the ones that's set to replace us. Even though they've only got 2 or 3 other members, it's enough that they have set rules, not like us, where Shizune seemed to be the president, but that was it. The new student council thanking me gives me a strange feeling. It's like coming back home and seeing that a tree you nurtured years before has grown, but I feel like I didn't nurture that tree enough. I wonder what more I could have done. It would likely make Shizune furious that I would feel distant from what I did in the student council this way, or that it imply I didn't do enough, but it's true. I was only following her. So in a way, I also feel like I'm viewing the same tree from far away, as if I'm seeing it from the window of a train as it passes by. I indulged in these thoughts for too long. When I snap out of it, I realize I'm still standing here, surrounded by the new student council. I do the only thing I can do and apologize for zoning out, and I thank them back. When you walk away, I enter the student council room, which looks a lot messier but seems to have gained a computer. It makes sense. I recall hearing one of the clipboard girls talking about her plans to use a computer to make all the boring data entries she does more tolerable. I can't remember which one said it, though. It always seems to be a more ambitious one, but then again, Keiko appears more serious. Well, it doesn't matter now. I'm not alone in this room, but instead of finding Shizune here like I expected, it's just Misha. She's sitting on Shizune's desk like Shizune herself often does, swinging her legs back and forth. When our eyes meet, she hops off into inexplicable poses like a superhero. Hiya, Chan. I'm surprised to see you here. What are you doing here? You first. I was looking for Shizune. Me too. I thought she would be here, but I got Hichan instead. Gee, thanks. Wahaha, well, this is good. Really. I wanted to talk to you anyway. About what? I take the time to glance around the room a little more. I see a hot plate. They really are living high. I wanted to say sorry. Of course, for all the trouble I made for you and Chichan. Don't call it trouble. Right. Don't apologize for Shizune. Haha, right, but this isn't why I'm here, Hichan. I wouldn't apologize to Hichan. Since you're here, I want to ask you a question. Hichan, what do you think it would take for Hichan to be happy? World domination, obviously. Wahaha. Even though you're joking, Hichan. No, even if she could, it wouldn't make Hichan happy. Only for a little. Hichan, have you ever heard of artists who tear up their paintings as soon as they finish them? Such people really exist in this world, you know. I remember it all of a sudden. It's just like Shichan now, that I think about it. Whenever Shichan sets up a challenge for herself and completes it, she acts like her skill has no meaning anymore. I wonder, is it because she can't create anything permanent? It's just like those artists, and how they want to create a piece of art to leave behind. A really great one, but you can't do it. But can't do it. It's really obvious when I look back at it, but I didn't see it before. Now I'm scared. I wonder if Shichan will ever be happy. No, I don't think so. Not about ever being happy. I think you're wrong. Shizune is actually happy more often than I thought. I think it's actually kind of amazing. Usually people don't think about that kind of stuff until they're middle-aged or dying. And then think I want to leave something behind or I want to be remembered. Like me. Only I skipped ahead a little. My life was short and seemed even shorter after my heart attack. I didn't think about what I was leaving behind because I very quickly thought there was almost nothing I was leaving behind. So all that was left for me was to stew in my own bitterness. Shizune already wants to leave her mark somewhere, but she wants to do it by helping people. And that's why celebrations are so important to her. She even wants to be a philanthropist. I think it's the best way to live, living on by what you give to others. Even if it's for a selfish reason, that's okay too. Shizune is already happy because if something goes well, there will always be someone else to see it and remember it. That's what makes her happy. Misha sighs, arms stiff at her sides, hands tapping in the air softly. Before I still thought, I might be able to make Shizune happy. I was in a good place to do it before. Since I was her interpreter, I could always be with her, maybe. and I thought I would do it by becoming like Chichan's shadow. I kept trying even when she rejected me. It felt like I was stuck. I couldn't do anything but watch Chichan's back getting smaller while she kept going. I was scared, even though I should have just accepted it. It's hard. Maybe I could have at least understood Chichan. But it looks like I was completely wrong after all. I didn't even know that or think about it. Chichan would call it a complete loss. Okay, I'm done. That's it, Chan. But since you're the only one who knows Chan best of all, you can't make her cry, or I'll be angry. I'm gonna go overseas after this. I even have letters of recommendations, or I don't think I'd be able to normally. Maybe I'll study and become a sign language teacher over there. Who knows? That means you have to look after Chan, okay? Misha smiles as honest as ever, but she's obviously changed. The look in her eyes is that of a much more attentive girl. It seems to be true that hardships build wisdom. It reminds me of the look of Shizune's eyes. I wonder what Shizune might have been through to become who she is. I can take a guess, or maybe she was always like that. I want to see her even more, and suggest to Misha that we should look for her together. Of course, it's just a pretext to spend more time with a friend. It's strange how it hasn't been long since we last hung out together, the three of us, in the span of a routine student council day. Yeah, that seems like a while long ago. Thinking about the future can put that kind of lens over the past. Speaking of lenses, outside Yuko's standing around, fiddling with a tiny modern-looking camera in her hands. It would be unnoticeable if it were metallic enough to reflect the sunlight. Misha calls out to her. I thought we were supposed to be looking for Shizune. Hi. What are you doing? I'm just taking a photo of everyone. That's obvious. Awkward, Misha. Awkward. Misha, I'll never forget how you taught me that someone can hold so many secrets and still have a massive lack of tact. Where's my photo? You want a copy? I don't know, well, only if you promise to keep it a secret or else everyone else will want one too. That happened to me in elementary school, only it was with candy. Okay, I'll take a photo of you now, then. Oh wait, I'm not ready, I was just kidding. Hey Chan, make a peace sign. I'm not gonna do that. Look, the camera flash goes off, blinding me. Yuko shields herself behind it, letting out a moan of frustration. You're not supposed to turn the flash on outdoors. She starts apologizing unnecessarily, and then quietly slips away. Oh, wait. Yes? Did you see Chan around here? Yes, in front of the gates. Thanks. I can barely get it out before I have to start following behind Misha. Fortunately, not for very long. The gate is barely a minute's walk from here, even though even that can be tiring for me. Sometimes we see Shizune with the student council. You're probably thinking of her too. As soon as she sees us, she shoos them away, which is very easy since I doubt any of them can understand sign language or use it. They're not too sad about leaving, which in turn makes me wonder why they would thank her without shooting someone who can, but it's the thought that counts. Misha immediately hugs Shizune and then leans against the gate next to her. I, on the other hand, decide to hang it back a little and let them talk. After all, Misha wanted to talk to Shizune the whole time. I can wait. I even turn away so I don't eavesdrop on their conversation. I end up losing track of the time. When I look at my watch, it's already been 10 minutes. I wonder if they're done, and turn around to find them behind me. What are you thinking about? Boring philosophical things that I don't want to talk about. Don't worry, I'm not thinking about it too hard. Good. Getting philosophical at a time like this would be the worst thing you could do. Yeah, I just want to stand here for a bit. It's relaxing. Wahaha! It was a busy week. Not really, not for me. I know that they must have been busy, but I think I know what I want to do now. And when it hit me, I didn't feel particularly fired up or anxious. It is the opposite, and I feel at peace for the first time in a long time, and I want to savor the feeling a little bit more. I think I want to teach here. As soon as I thought this, a long winding road appeared in my mind. An uncertain road that leads back here. I wonder if I'll be able to meet someone in the future like me, someone filled with bitterness. I want to talk to that person since I can't talk to myself. I want to tell them that life is too short, something that couldn't be told to me, only shown. I want to do it without pity. If I had been pitied, I'm sure that it only died a little bit more. When I think about that first week, I still think about how it went. So, well, it could have been called the result of kindness. I feel like I want to show others the same kindness. Also, I want to keep chasing Shizune. What did the student council want, Chad? It's hard to daydream when you have to deal with Misha's voice. I didn't know that they had someone who knew sign language. They don't. I think it was most likely just a goodbye, so I appreciate it, even though I couldn't tell them. How did you know I was here? Is it supposed to be a secret? Anyway, we just asked Yuko. Did she take a photo of you too? Yes, without asking me first. Since Yuko doing anything spur of the moment is rare, though, I'll let it go. She snaps her fingers more because I think she liked it than out of realization of an idea. We should take a photo of the three of us. We haven't taken a student council photo yet. Now's the perfect chance. But if I had to look at the picture a year from now, I don't want it staring back at me. What does that mean, Chichan? Pictures are supposed to be captured at the moment, isn't that right? Without a doubt, they're not portraits. Just standing around would be so stiff. It wouldn't even capture how I feel. I feel like we'll meet again, so this is an occasion to take such a serious photo. It should be a see you later type of photo. Not a big deal. Just to be something more festive. Oh boy. Like this. Follow me. She poses like a musketeer so quickly that I'm not sure even she knows it's silly. Ha ha ha. Do you really have to? It's such a cheesy pose. I can think of no better pose. Misha, go find Yuko. I don't like this pose either, but I think it's kind of nice. That doesn't even make sense. She's already gone and returns dragging Yuko behind her. Flashes off, a red LED blinks 3 times above it after. Yuko fingers presses the button. Shizune glances at both of us to make sure we have the timing down. Synchronized watches, we jump. I bet that turned out excellently. Okay. Now let's get one with Yuko too. No, please. That's not necessary. I want a copy of this photo too. I'll likely die younger than the average person. My life could unexpectedly burn out at any time. I don't have any time to waste then. I want to live as much as possible. I want to see other people smile from what I've made and done. Living vicariously through the happiness of others doesn't seem so bad. Feeling joy through another person's happiness doesn't seem like such a bad thing. It's the easiest way I can think of to draw out my own life. I would give it distinction. Maybe this is the meaning that Shizune has found for herself. Although it's just my theory. People find themselves alone often in their lives, and without direction. However, people can take refuge in moments of happiness. They can dot a person's life, like stop on a train map, or waypoints of memory on a long trail. These individual moments of reflection can give a person's life full fulfillment. Every friend and festival, and joyful meeting and joyful party. I want to be able to ask Shizune one day if I'm right. I want to spend the time I have with her. Finally, I want to make Shizune smile for herself. I love you. I pause, wondering if she'll look at me confused and ask what I'd said if what I said it out loud of the blue. She doesn't. Do they do that reunion thing here? Of course they do. A student council member should know that. Sooner than that, though, okay? Both of you. Right. Yeah. Yuko, you do the pose too. Afterwards, we can go for tea. She laughs as if she doesn't have a care in the world. Misha's laughter joining with her is as easily as if it were her own. We'll meet again. And that's the end of Shizune's path, and also the end of this sort of read-through, playthrough thing of my Katawa Shoujo series. Oh my god. Oh my god. I started this a year ago, and even though I... oh man, I'm getting emotional. March 6th of 2014 was the first one. It was just the day I created the first part, and March 10th being the first part being for the first part being uploaded. Look at them, look at them. Final two. Well, I say two because Shizune and Misha were part of that. And even though I've taken many breaks from this, just in between paths or during the middle of one, a lot of memories with this. As you can see, we can have all the pictures of all the acts. God damn. Wait, was it March 6th? Let's check. I've saved every single one of these. Yeah, March 6th. Wow. March 6th. And this is the first playthrough where I had over 100 parts, which is amazing to me to think that I have over 100 parts of just one series. It's incredible, really, to think about. And just if you add them all together, to be just a couple days, even still, just a couple days of reading this continuously. Like I'd over 40 hours, I'd say, I'd put into this, just reading and doing really bad voices and going through all these stories and emotions. It's really incredible to think about, really. So first we went through a Hanako stage, or a path, and then Lily's, then Emi's, and then Rin's, now Shizune's. It's really crazy. To be honest, I don't really know how I picked which girl which order I'd choose. It just sort of went with it. With first being Hanako's, because that was the first one I went through when I first played or read through it, and it was really nice to read through it again for YouTube, I guess. You can check out all the music that we've listened to, and you can download the soundtrack on their site. So if you wanted to listen to it, just go there. I might put a link in the description. Also, I guess you could also just download the game too if you want to listen to it, but if you want to put it on your iPod or something. Yeah, the gallery, I don't want to look through that because there's some really weird there's some not safe for work pictures in there. Library? What's the library? Oh, all the acts. Yeah, we went through every single act except for the bad paths. Also known as Kenji's path. But I honestly don't think I'll go through Kenji's path. Completion 93%, on the other percent being Kenji's path, of course, or just being neutral endings or bad endings. But I think it's nice just to go through all the good endings of each of these. I don't want to end it on a bad term in the game. And it tells you like a brief description on what happens in this part. Yeah. In the cinema, you can look through every single act. 2 cutscene. But even though I don't want this to end, because of how long I've been keeping with it, this is it. So I hope you guys enjoyed that part, and also, the series. See you guys next one. Fuck. Oh, I didn't want to cry again.